Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of Talking Football, where we cover all the events from La Liga and the Premier League, and there is so much to talk about. With me here to do it is football analyst for Israel Hayom Daily, Amit Lewinthal. Hi Amit, thank you for coming.
Hi Jonathan, thank you for having me.
Cristiano Ronaldo just can't stop scoring for Real Madrid. Diego Costa does the same for Chelsea. All that and much more coming up. Let's get started. We begin with Barcelona, and they did lose their first points of the season in midweek, but they were again impressive this weekend, and with 16 points and no goals conceded yet, it looks very good, Amit, for Luis Enrique so far. 6-0 against Granada, six goals to score. It's always difficult.
Yes, on the defense doesn't concede a goal on one hand. On the other hand, the attack looks really fine, at least most of the game so far. And we see Leo Messi this year developing as a number 10, whereas in previous season we saw him as a false 9. And now he has already 8 assists. And the Barca's game, you see it more diverse, and it's lovely to see.
And he has 400 goals in his career, and he's 27. He can play for 10 more years at this level. Who knows where he will get?
It's an amazing number when you figure out, 40 goals in 10 seasons is 400. It's really unimaginable. And Messi, has his thing. We saw him in making the numbers, putting 70 goals a season even, and he scores when he wants. That's right. And his coach, Luis Enrique, said he's like been touched by a magic wand, and that's exactly.
And maybe the really good news is this combination with Neymar. We see them setting up for each other. It works together.
Yeah, last year we didn't see it enough. It was like Neymar only came, and they didn't have this synchronization and playing together. It didn't gel, and this year it looks very, very good in the beginning. But they need to continue, keep on doing the good job, and they have a good test against PSG in the Champions League.
Now, obviously, the one team that Barcelona always looks at is Real Madrid. The good news for Real Madrid, they won at the Madrigal, which is a tough stadium, and they were not very good, and still they got the 3 points.
Yes, that's for big teams, it's important to win games where they are not in their best, and Real did just that after some, we were very impressed by their scoring 18 goals in 3 games. They had this tough obstacle against Villarreal at the Madrigal, and they did it the hard way. Yes, they labored to the victory. The defense was tight.
Because eventually they will score. Cristiano Ronaldo will score. And as long as the defense stays intact, they don't concede goals, they will win.
Yes, a clean sheet is a very, very positive sign for Ancelotti. He will love to carry that onwards in other games. And the defense of Real is good. They have good players. It's only a time till they will gel. And I think, they'll be good.
And obviously Cristiano Ronaldo was again on target. Now to Atletico Madrid, maybe the secret for them is playing against a strong team. They give away points against Celta Vigo, against Rayo Vallecano, but when they play at the Bernabeu or against Seville, Europa Cup champions, then they win 4-0 against Seville.
Yes, Diego Simeone came back from his suspension. He was, you saw him on the bench, bring back all his enthusiasm, and all the crowd in the Vicente Calderon went into the game. It was great to see, this ambience we saw last year. And Atletico only needs this motivation that it seems they are a little bit lacked in the last few games.
Maybe the secret is that teams like Seville, like Real Madrid, they play open. And it's easier for Atletico against teams who open the games. It's tougher for them against smaller teams who play solid defense, and it's difficult.
Yes, it's right. They don't have Diego Costa like last year that, he did that to the smaller teams with his, powering his way through to the goal. But I think Atletico is still a very good force as long as they come, with their mental approach, the right approach to games, they will pick up points against most of the teams, also the smallest teams.
And I love to see Diego Simeone there on the bench with all that enthusiasm. And in other results from La Liga, Celta Vigo continue to be the surprising team at the start of the season. The team from Galicia is still undefeated, and they won again on the weekend, this time in Elche. And Valencia left 2 points in San Sebastián as their match against Real Sociedad ended in a 1-1 draw. Barcelona are first with 16 points, followed by Valencia and Atletico Madrid, who are 2 points behind. And these two teams will face off this coming weekend in a very interesting clash at the Mestalla. Seville, who lost to the Colchoneros, is now fourth with 13 points. Real Madrid and Celta Vigo are further down with 12. Time for the Premier League now, and Chelsea are running strong. After losing the first points of the season last week in Manchester, they're back to winning ways now. This time it was an easy 3-0 over Aston Villa. And Amit, with so much depth, so much quality, it's quite hard to see anyone stopping them.
Yeah, it's still early in the season. Everybody's talking, I think, a little bit too much about Chelsea. We will see them in big tests. They have Arsenal on Sunday. But so far so good for Jose Mourinho. Diego Costa is terrorizing the defenses. He scores when he wants and the way he wants. And they look good so far, and they need to keep on the good job. And Mourinho is doing good job also, not having a lot of injuries, which is also due to his training training actions.
The physics of the team. You mentioned the game against Arsenal. Manager Jose Mourinho was speaking ahead of this match, which comes up this weekend.
I think the team always gave to everyone the feeling that everything was under control. The second and the third goal obviously kills everything, but I think overall was a very good performance. We go match after match. The next one for the Premier League is Arsenal. We have a lead of, I think, 3 points for Southampton, which gives us the guarantee that in the next weekend we will still be top of the league. So is this very, very important? It's not crucial because it's too early, but it's a little bit of a space that gives you that good feeling that you are top of the league. It's good to be there.
And we're now joined by I24 News reporter Michael Friedman, who's following what the press is saying about Chelsea. Michael, Amit just said Diego Costa is terrorizing the defenses in the Premier League. It's quite strange because he's hardly training.
Yeah, Diego Costa keeps going into the papers. BBC headline showed Mourinho saying that Diego Costa is doing almost nothing in training. Basically, he's just trying to play every game he can, and his fitness level it's a question. But Mourinho is very happy with the fact that his team is performing and winning games. And he said it doesn't matter that he's scoring goals. All that matters is that they're winning. And the next big thing, besides
they may be changing home ground.
It's possible. They might have to do a season away from Stamford Bridge. They're looking to build the stadium to maybe 60,000. And there's a new Twickenham Stadium that was for the rugby team that holds
the English rugby team.
Yeah, they host almost 82,000. So it would be interesting if Chelsea has to play another, season away from Stamford Bridge. Could this be a nice little change of season?
And Amit, I have to ask you, English teams are so connected to their homes in Old Trafford, Stamford Bridge. Used to be Highbury, now it's Emirates Stadium. The idea of Chelsea playing, even if it's for one season in Twickenham, it's a bit fishy.
Well, we're talking about Chelsea, but it's it's a phenomenon. Tottenham are moving to a new stadium in
West Ham to the Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, West Ham is moving. Liverpool is expanding Anfield to 60,000 seat stadium. So we see it in a lot of teams because the income of teams in the Premier League is getting higher, and also the teams are paying more for players. They want to grow, to get bigger, so they need a bigger stadia, and that's what we're seeing the league is going to.
And now our next item is Manchester United. They won, which is good, 2-1 against West Ham. But even that came so hard with Wayne Rooney first scoring, then being sent away. So difficult, everything for Manchester United.
Yes, Rooney sent off, and he's first sent off as a captain, which is a bad sign. He apologized today about that, but Manchester United still has a lot to develop and to improve. But it's like we said about Real Madrid. When you're a big team, it's important to win, even if you're not good. When you're not good, because when you're good, you probably will win. And now most of the big teams lost points. United had their 3-pointers, so it's good.
And some pressure was taken off the shoulders of manager Lewinthal. Here's what he had to say following the game.
I'm very pleased with the attitude of my players because they have fought till the end. And then I have said after the match to them, then you shall always be rewarded with a very good result.
In other results from the Premier League, the Liverpool derby ended in a 1-1 draw as Everton were able to tie the score in Anfield deep in stoppage time. The North London derby also ended in a 1-1 draw as Arsenal had to struggle before tying the score at their Emirates Stadium. Manchester City won 4-2 in Hull, and Southampton continued their impressive start to the season, this time beating Queen's Park Rangers 2-1. Chelsea are first with 16 points, followed by Southampton with 13. Manchester City are third with 11 points. Next are Arsenal, Swansea and Aston Villa. And finally, we can see Manchester United in the top half. The Red Devils are in 7th place with 8 points. We spoke of La Liga earlier in the show. As always, Real Madrid and Barcelona are the favorites to win the title. The big question is, can last season repeat itself? Can there be a third team in the race? Atletico Madrid or perhaps another team? Valencia or maybe Seville? Lies Barenboim and Michael Friedman try to answer.
Barcelona and Real Madrid have dominated La Liga for nearly 10 years, but the competition is now giving light to new teams. Atletico was the team to surprise everyone by winning La Liga last year, and now there's several other teams who are competing for the top spot.
Today our reality is to look towards Seville, Valencia and Bilbao. These are the teams we try to fight against to earn a place in the Champions League.
Valencia have started the season off very well, beating Malaga, Getafe and Cordoba 3-0 and winning against Espanyol 3-1. However, despite a draw against Real Sociedad on Sunday, Valencia remain unbeaten since the start of the season. They are currently in second place just behind Barcelona, and midfielder Sofiane Feghouli is well aware of his team's strength on the pitch.
We will create a team that is playing strong attacking football, and I'm sure that is who we are.
With the new summer signings of Lucas Orban, Andre Gomez, Rodrigo, and Otamendi, Valencia wants to make their presence shown around the league this season. The talented striker, Alvaro Negredo, came on loan from Manchester City, and he will look to help Valencia qualify for the Champions League. Other European giants such as Chelsea and Arsenal are interested in players from Valencia and even hope to sign Paco Alcacer. Many players are aware of the strength when they face Valencia.
We know that Valencia is a big team, which has an important goal in the Champions League and is playing very good football. I think the matches are played and won, not by talking about it.
Besides for Valencia, there's another club that is looking to make it to the top of La Liga. Sevilla beat Getafe and Real Sociedad at the beginning of the season, but would fall to Atletico in an embarrassing 4-0 defeat. Despite the loss, the team is still in 4th place in La Liga. With Atletico Madrid providing a new spark to La Liga last year, Barcelona and Real Madrid are no longer the only contenders in the title race this year.
So, Amit, the question is, are Barcelona and Real Madrid not the only contenders? I remember the days, they were not so long ago, when Valencia won 2 championships. They made it to the Champions League final. They were a good team in the top in Spain time and time again. Is it possible now? We saw Atletico winning last season.
Yeah, it was until a decade ago that we saw La Coruña and Sociedad and other smaller teams, running for the championship and not always winning it, but giving a fight. And I think nowadays with the economy of football, Barcelona and Real Madrid are so big, and the other teams, they have economical problems. So it's up to Real and Barcelona. If they are good, no one will touch them. Last year they didn't manage to get to 100 points like they did the years before. So Atletico Madrid had a chance and were brilliant, you must say, all the way. But I'm not optimistic to the future.
Because I have to say, Michael, I heard Diego Simeone ahead of the Super Cup against Real Madrid, the Spanish the European Super Cup. He said, the money they spent on 2 players, I spent on 9 players. The economic differences are just huge. Is it possible to gap that, or not for a long time?
It's really just, it's not fair for those smaller teams that don't have the same amount of money. They can't spend the same amount. And you see Real Madrid and Barcelona, they continuously buy and they get so much for their amount of money. And the smaller teams aren't getting the same buy.
Well, we're seeing that in Spain, in Germany also with Dortmund, big teams, but they lose their big players every time again. Atletico Madrid, Dortmund, you name it.
Yeah, in Spain we have even the problem even is bigger because we don't have a collective deal for the TV. So Real Madrid and Barcelona are selling their TV rights for 150 million euro each, and the smaller teams, don't get 5 or 10 million. So there is no base for really a competition. In other leagues we see it otherwise, like the Premier League. Even the last teams gets lots of money, more than 70 million pounds a year. So they have at least they can at least bring players.
There are more than 2 teams competing.
But I think in Spain we see 2 great teams. Even they are even become greater than other teams in Europe because of their advantages in Spain. So I think it's inevitable we see a European Super League in the future, but it's a matter of time. It could take 5 years, but
we will follow that obviously. Amit Lewinthal, Michael Friedman, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's it for us today. Thank you for joining us, and make sure to tune in tomorrow for a second Talking Football show. See you then. Thank you very much.